Hi, I'm Jack Grimmer at Wycombe Wanderers, and you're listening to Wycombe Sound.
The Wycombe Wanderers Show.
Welcome to the latest episode of the Wycombe Wanderers Show. Not too long of the season left, it feels like, but I think there's still quite a bit to go, really, as well. Coming up in the next hour, we'll hear from Phil. Our match briefing will reflect briefly on the defeat to Barnsley on Saturday. Look ahead to the trip to Reading this coming Saturday, and also lots more as well. We'll hear from manager Matt Bloomfield a little later on too, in the press session yesterday at the training ground. Very exciting, and got to come out. Also, thanks to Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association, we'll catch up with current Slough player manager Scott Davies after his spell at Adams Park in 2009, after initially being in the Centre of Excellence a few years before. We'll get the latest from him. A lot's happened to him in his comparatively short life. It's his birthday next week as well.
Happy birthday!
That's to come as well. On the eve of International Women's Day as well, we'll hear from Wycombe Wanderers Women and some of the females who mean a lot to them, and we'll catch up with two of their new signings as well. They made 4 this week.
Wow!
And we'll hear from Luke as well on the note you just heard from him, on the notice board section 2. Much to cover this week, including the revelation of the or the revealing, which is what I was going to say, of the kick-off time for the Bristol Street Motors Trophy on April the 7th.
Finally!
For the final at Wembley, which may affect / may not affect your plans ongoing, and your tickets will be available from tomorrow for certain levels. Would you call them levels?
Season ticket holders.
Thank you. I meant sort of the first of different stages of
Phase 1.
Thank you.
Of 3.
That's all to come in the next hour, but first we'll hear from Phil with our usual catch-up, and following Saturday's defeat, as I say, to Barnsley. Still plenty of positives to take from the game.
I think, the first half largely was an excellent performance against a team who've been doing really, really well this season. Frustratingly, just a 1-goal lead, which would have been fine had we not got hit by that sucker punch in first half stoppage time. The equaliser coming from the head of Sam Cosgrove. It's a scruffy period of play, and it was a really well struck free kick, but to go in level at half time didn't feel like the just reward for the performance that we'd seen for a good 30-35 minutes from the boys. But they showed great character, then get their noses back in front, but not for long, and it was a set piece goal that levelled things up, which is always going to be disappointing. And then to go 3-2 down and then immediately make the subs, to react to that, and then to lose David Wheeler for a very uncharacteristic sort of kick out. No complaints about the red, and we have to suck that up. Then the 4th goal coming soon after, you could see why Barnsley are doing so well this season. Herbie Kane putting the strings in midfield, and but what was encouraging after that was that we continued to push again against a strong side and had chances, but the game was really over when the 4th went in. But the positives are there to take, and I think Barnsley, having watched a lot of nearly all of the teams this season, in fact, I think they will be. I wouldn't be surprised if they're in the Championship next season. A really good combination of decent football and doggedness and game management from them. Looks like they've got the complete package to get out of this division.
Really encouraging the fast start that the team made to the game, and also the chances created throughout, really.
Yeah, it was a really good performance from the team. And it's. We look at the differences between the game back at Oakwell earlier in the season, obviously with the hotly contested goal in a tight game. But we're a very different side now, I think, in terms of the shape and the structure of it. I think Matt Butcher in midfield has added something definitely. Josh Scowen still working his way back to full fitness, but shows his real value against a team like Barnsley. I think in terms of the goals scored, there were 2 really good goals that we scored. It's just coming down now to these small moments. Performances are there, but we need to now get the results to go along with them.
And it really shows how well the new signings have settled in from January and the other loans as well.
Yeah, the January transfer window, it's not that long ago that it closed, and obviously there was some late action in that, but everyone who's joined in that window, it seems like they've been here a very long time, which is a great sign. It's a difficult window for players to join, but I think everyone who's come in, even those who unfortunately picked up injuries, not been able to contribute as much as they would like on the pitch, it's a team effort here all around the training ground, and in terms of their recovery and being around the place as well, and adding in terms of that, it's been great to see, and the vibe up here we speak about at length lots and lots, and it makes it, I think, easier for these players to come in and assimilate very quickly.
And what's really nice, I think, when fans see the team sheet on a Saturday or Tuesday is the options available from the bench as well as those that are starting.
Yeah, the squad is looking strong. We've obviously had to deal with injuries throughout this season. We're having to deal with a couple of suspensions at the moment as well. So it will give others opportunities. I think young Gideon Kajua has come in and looked really exciting against Stevenage and a good cameo the other day against Barnsley as well. So it shows you that when a door opens, you've got to go in and take your chance. So these are opportunities for players. It's an exciting squad, and we've got some big games in the league coming up. Apparently there's a big day at Wembley coming up in April, though we're not allowed to talk about it. But that will obviously be in the back of the players' minds as well, and they'll want to be starting or featuring in that game as well. But to do so, you're going to have to perform really well in the league between now and then.
And a big game coming up on Saturday as well. It really feels that I think much has been made of the situation that Reading find themselves in, but there's so much to sort of look forward to in that clash as well.
Yeah, from a fan's point of view, it's a local game, so we haven't got to spend sort of the best part of 8 hours on the M6, which is always a plus. But yeah, local game against a team that we've got a bit of history with in terms of games down the years. They won the game at Adams Park earlier in the season, and they kind of used that as a catalyst really to kind of turn their season around. They were really struggling up to that point. I don't think they'd won away for a calendar year. They got the win at Adams Park that day. They changed shape. They're using wide players a lot more. They were very narrow in the build-up to that game, but they've changed things up. Their performance since then has been a lot better. But the other thing as well, the narrative for the fans for this game is that they're really close to Wycombe Wanderers in the table. So at this stage of the season, for fans at least, that really adds a bit of spice.
And from what you've seen, obviously discounting the result on Saturday, does it feel like things are starting to click and we're going in the right direction coming into this latter part of the season? Yeah,
there's been some really exciting passages of play against some good teams recently as well. I think we've seen quite a lot of change last pre-season, this season, in terms of playing style, personnel. So it's been quite a transitional season after a very long period of being settled and stable, but that's football, so it's been fascinating to watch that evolve and develop, and I feel like we're on a really upward curve now, which is fantastic. But like I said earlier on, we've now got to get the results to go along with these positive signs.
Fantastic, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great to chat to Phil, as always, and he'll be describing all the action from the
Majeski Stadium, or whatever it's called. The select your cars and then lease them.com/Reading.
Kick-off at 3 on Saturday. Match build-up from 2 on Wycombe Sound and on Wanderers TV.
Yes.
Luke's here with the notice board section.
I've gone double whammy this time. It's good. Well, I feel it needs that honk because it's a big day tomorrow, mainly for the ticketing team, because tickets for Wembley, or as it's the code name for it at Wycombe is at the minute W, focusing on the league. But tickets for the final of the Bristol Street Motors Trophy final, Phase 1 starts tomorrow, which is for season ticket holders. Ryan, who is head of all things ticketing at Wycombe, has put up his top tips for the ticketing.
Reveal all.
I will do. Step 1, make sure you can log in to tickets.wwfc.com. Not the Wycombe Wanderers website, the ticketing website. Do that now. Then make sure you save your login details because, that will help you. Check your social bubble. If you're not like me and you've actually got friends, then you want to make sure who's getting what tickets.
Yes, good point.
Make sure don't say Ryan's idea, it's not me. For now, all sorted. You're done, right? Then for Friday, then basically, if you are in Phase 1, get ready because log in from 9:30. You can be online and ready, and then they go live from 10 o'clock. There will be a queuing system, so you might have to, we love that, so that'll be fine. The event will open at 10 o'clock for queuing, and then basically patience is needed. Then don't panic buy, and then assign tickets to yourself, and tickets will be sent to your email address as well.
Exciting stuff.
And then after your sale, there's a little party emoji, so maybe have a drink. And you're going to Wembley. Print your tickets. You can keep your email confirmation and tickets safe. You can book. That's right. Parking by heading to wembleyofficialparking.com. And good luck to everyone buying tickets. Good luck to Ryan and Matt and the ticketing team at Wycombe Wanderers.
No, absolutely. That all starts tomorrow. The kick-off time for the game has been revealed this week.
Finally.
Yes, a lot's gone into that, hasn't it?
Apparently so. Obviously, a lot of people looking at, abacuses, writing on whiteboards. But yeah, 4:30 in the afternoon.
Hopefully that'll improve / decrease your
Hopefully it will improve, or they're going to change it again.
your chances of getting to the game and enjoying your afternoon out.
Fingers crossed.
And also fingers crossed that the trains will be okay on that day as well.
Yes, there will be more news from Chiltern Railways at some point soon, but they're on it.
And Wycombe Wanderers will be wearing green and white, it's been revealed.
Green and white, and has it been announced? Why not? Green socks as well, because normally it would be white socks, but
yes.
Peterborough play in blue and white, so we're playing in all green.
Any other news from JT in the kit room?
I still I don't know how he got the Bradford mud out, but he did. Well done, JT, for that. That's sterling work.
Not really what I meant, but yes, I meant more to do with the final.
Well, other than they were playing in green, no.
Super. No, but I saw on social media he posted that you already started the printing for the final, so there must be some work going in there.
That is because there was a photo shoot on the other day with some of the stars of Wycombe Wanderers.
Ooh, watch out for that.
Be appearing in places around Wembley, possibly, and programmes.
Yeah.
Remember programmes?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. You can get one of those on the day.
I would imagine so, yeah. That's all I have for now. You can find Ryan's full thread, which it was much better put together than I read it, at RyanI_01. We've also shared it onto our social media as well.
Great stuff.
Basically, make sure you can log in, be on early, there will be a queue, you'll get your tickets. It will be fine. Phase 1 tomorrow for season ticket holders. Phase 2 is on the 13th, which is next Wednesday.
Yes.
Thank you. That is for people that have bought tickets this season. And Phase 3, which is on the 18th, which is the Monday afterwards, which is for everybody else.
Great phase news. Hope that was helpful. And
probably not.
or confusing, either of the two. But obviously we'll have more build-up to the Bristol Street Motors / EFL Trophy Final against Peterborough. Kick-off at 4:30, formerly 3 o'clock, at Wembley Stadium. Looking forward to building up to that. As mentioned, it's International Women's Day tomorrow, and something which will be appearing on the Wycombe Wanderers Women's social media is a brilliant video compilation of some players and some coaches from all the different teams involved, the under-18s, under-23s, and of course the first team, paying tributes to women who are key to their lives. And I'm very pleased to say we've got a bit of an exclusive preview for you.
Definitely a big shout out to my mum. She's always there when I need her. She's always supporting me, especially through football. Even when I was younger, she's always taken me to every training, waited for hours, watched games. So yeah, massive shout out to mum.
I would say my mum, because it's not easy raising 4 kids, and I admire how hard she worked to support me and my brothers and to support our goals and aspirations.
Shout out is to Mumsy Outfield, Roz, for bringing up 3 of us all by herself, and future mother-in-law, Kath, for being the best mum ever.
2 women in my life. Firstly, my wife for looking after me through all my aches, pains and illnesses, and to my mum who's 90 years old this September. Best mum you could ever wish for. Long may she carry on.
Mine is Millie West, because she always controls the back line and she's the best centre back in the world.
My Nana, because she has the best cooking in the world, no one could ever beat it.
I'd say my mum, because she's always at my games.
All the girls here, absolutely amazing. They make coming here an absolute joy. But the big shout out goes out to my mum. And the reason for that is she was so strong. She had to go through so much to bring myself and my brother up in London back in the days. But she gave so much love as well. So my mum, yeah, big shout out to her.
It's in the name, like, all of us here, the club wouldn't be the same if it wasn't for all the women in it. Like, every session that we come, I think I learned something new from everyone's experience. Like, and nobody wants anything bad for you. They just want you to grow and develop, like, yes, themselves, but everybody individually, everybody as a team. So
my shout out is going to be my mum and my sister, because as I've got older I've realised that they're the people that will have my back. Like, they have my back no matter what. So I feel like as I've grown older I appreciate them so much more than I did when I was younger.
Probably my mum. The reason for it is because she's like shaped me into the person I am today. Like, all the attributes I've got from her. So yeah.
I'm going to shout out my friends. Yeah, my friends. They're very supportive. Powerful women who are amazing. Girl boss. Yeah.
My mother. My personal assistant, basically. Does everything for me.
My shout outs to my mum for coming to every football match from the age of 5 up to probably 16 and watching me.
My wife Ellen, she's currently carrying the baby, ready for July. Another chairboy, I don't know, it's a surprise. So it's all good stuff.
I want to give a shout out to the England women's team, and let's hope that everybody does well and gets through to the finals next year for the Euros. And for every academy player, that's the dream you've got to live for. Let's go.
Beth Me, she's a goat.
My shout out will be my wife, because after 23 years she still puts up with me and all my nonsense.
I'm going to say my Nana, because she's really like a strong woman. I'm going to say my best mate, Very. Actually made her through the club. Yeah, met her in September. Made my life, really.
My shout out is Eleanor, because met her September here, and life's been better since. So yeah.
I'm going to say my team at work, because they're fabulous and they work hard every day, and I appreciate them and they deserve a shout out.
Crystal, thank you. My mum. No, that's my mum. Love you, Mum. My two beautiful nans, one in heaven, bless her, and my mum. They're all powerful women, very strong, and they're all my heroes.
My mum, because she always supports me and is always there if I need her.
Shout out for my mum, because she's dedicated everything for me and my sisters, and it's made us who we are today. So shout out, Mum.
Do watch out for that compilation. It'll be released tomorrow on International Women's Day.
I have an idea for the Chair Girls. Craig, you can get on this. You may have heard the song Shout Out to My Ex. I think they could quite easily do one called Shout Out to My Mum.
Oh,
quite nice for International Women's Day as well, because a lot of them were all talking about their mum. Yeah. They've got a year to work on it. Or if they can do it by tomorrow morning.
That'd be very impressive.
I would be impressed, yeah.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound.
Still to come on this week's edition of the Wycombe Wanderers Show, we'll hear from two of Wycombe Wanderers women's new signings. It's very spooky. Also, we'll hear from manager Matt Bloomfield, who we spoke to at the press session yesterday at the training ground.
He was very complimentary of you.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that later? Or?
Sadly, that wasn't recorded.
Yeah, so Colin could make this up, but I was there, so I can say that Mr. Bloomfield did say some nice things about you. He said some horrible things about you as well, but anyway.
You said you'd deny it if I mentioned
Well, I'm feeling nice. You brought me cookies.
Oh, more on that later. Still to come then, thanks to the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association, who have their quiz this coming weekend. Don't miss that. It's always very competitive and very popular as well. We've been speaking to Scott Davies, the former Wycombe Wanderers midfielder, who was on loan at the club in 2009 after, initially joining sometime before that.
My earliest memories is playing at Molins as an under-14, if we're going to go back that far. So obviously I was very fortunate to be in the School of Excellence from the age of 10 to 14, and then Reading paid a fee for me. And then I think it was 6 years later that I came back as a first-team player on loan, on a 3-month sort of loan move to Wycombe in League One. I knew it was difficult in terms of the league position and stuff, but I absolutely loved it. Gary Waddock was manager, a really good squad of players. I think Tommy Doherty in my time there was probably head and shoulders above everyone else, someone that I respected hugely, and I thought he was an exceptional footballer. But yeah, it was difficult because of the league position, but I learned a hell of a lot, and I actually played pretty well during my time over that 3-month period. So yeah, really enjoyable time in a fantastic league. There were some massive clubs at the time. I think Leeds United, Southampton, Charlton, Norwich were all in there. So yeah, it was a great team to be a part of.
And did it feel extra special being, born and growing up locally as well, and playing for a team not so far away?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I always wanted to play for Wycombe when I was a young child, being there from the age of 10. My sort of dreams and aspirations were play in the first team. Obviously, I was diverted to Reading at the age of 14, and that was a fantastic club. Of course, it was. And the academy there was a little bit more of a better setup, I guess, at the time. So it felt like the right move for me. But then to come back and play in the first team Wycombe, obviously the fan base, the club itself, like beautiful ground to play at. And being a local lad as well, sort of 20 minutes away, living in Stoke Mandeville, it just made sense. So it felt like home. And I was gutted, actually, that I never actually went back there later on in my career. It was always my sort of plan maybe to try and go back there once the loan moves had finished, to go back there as a permanent player, but it never really materialised.
It's funny how football works out, isn't it? Because if you see it all written down and the different clubs you played for, and it seems like kind of real progression. But I get that at the time, I guess it must feel like sort of my next opportunity. Going to Oxford and playing for like Chris Wilder now, who's obviously in the Premier League, and playing at Reading, as you say, and some of the opposition that we do face there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was very lucky that I played for most of my local clubs with Oxford United, Wycombe, Reading. And I remember turning down a deal, actually. It was a 4.5-year deal at Wycombe. Gary Waddock tried to sign me on a permanent when I was on loan there. And I remember a few years later really regretting not signing that deal. I ended up going to Crawley instead because they were a club on the up at the time. They'd had quite a large investment and they'd signed some really good players. But it didn't really work out there for one reason or another. And I remember thinking if I'd have gone to Wycombe on that long-term deal, I probably could have felt at home. Wouldn't have had far to travel. Probably would have been able to express myself and play with freedom and hopefully have kicked on. But yeah, it's obviously a decision that you have to make within a few days of when it gets offered to you. And it's definitely one of those decisions that I live to regret, I guess.
Was it really nice, being at the club at that stage in your career? Because as you say, initially 2001 and then 2009, you actually get to, sort of play proper games, if you like.
Yeah, that's everyone's natural progression as well to get into the first team. So I don't know how many games I did play for Wycombe. I probably scored maybe 7 or 8 goals in that time. Some nice goals as well, some memorable ones. But I think the thing for me is that it was one of the things that I look back at. I think I was one of the only ones that was sort of there at the age of 10 years old. And then I was there in the first team 10 years later. None of the other lads had sort of stuck around or gone through the youth team at Wycombe whilst I was in the youth team at Reading. And there was a lot of change at the time. But it's great to see now, obviously, the other younger lads coming through at a similar time to me. People like you, Josh Scowens, that are obviously a mainstay in the first team now. So it's shown that the academy at Wycombe has certainly been successful and fruitful. Matty Phillips has obviously gone on to have an incredible career as well. And I think some of the names that have come through at Wycombe over the years is something to certainly be proud of.
No, absolutely. And great how quickly you settled in as well. I think it was your third appearance. You scored 2 goals.
Yeah, Walsall at home. So I remember seeing the keeper off the line. I was probably, maybe 45, 50 yards out on the angle. And it was in front of the home dugout. And I remember saying to Gary Waddock, I fancy this. And he actually turned around and said, just go for it, just do it. Because the keeper was sort of like edging off his line a little bit further. So I managed to put one over his head. And then there was a short corner. I think Matty Phillips squared it to me and I managed to tuck it into the bottom corner. So, yeah, I think obviously when you start your career at a football club, you want to start brightly and positively. And getting 2 goals early on meant that I felt quite comfortable. I felt like people appreciated the way that I played at the club at the time. I was definitely a little bit Marmite in terms of the way that I played because I would try the extraordinary where people don't like to see people give the ball away, but I like to play with freedom, and I feel like I certainly had the sort of permission to do that under the management team at Wycombe.
It must have been a really nice feeling when you had your loan extended in the new year as well.
Yeah, it was. There was a few clubs at the time that I could have maybe gone to. I remember Huddersfield being one of them. We actually got beat by them 6-0 on TV on a Saturday lunchtime kickoff. I don't know if you remember it. And then after the game, there was talk about signing for Huddersfield on loan because they were up the top end of the league and we were down the bottom. But I'd like to think I'm quite loyal. I remember sitting down with Gary Waddock and saying that I want to remain at the club. So obviously stayed there and cracked on with Wycombe because I just enjoyed it so much. So, yeah, it's definitely a fun time and fond memories looking back.
What was it like playing under Gary? Because obviously he's been influential in coaching some great players who've gone on to do great things as well.
The man's absolutely brilliant. I couldn't speak highly enough of him. I think had him for 2 years at Aldershot, which stood me in good stead. He allowed me to just go out there and play like a young boy would, who was playing down the park. There was no pressure. He told me to go out there and make as many mistakes as I wanted to, because ultimately he would say that if you don't play or if you play within yourself, then you're no better than anyone else. So I want you to try the things that maybe other players wouldn't, and I certainly did that at times, and sometimes it didn't come off, which I understand now can be frustrating, but yeah, I've got so much respect for him in terms of what he did for my career. He's a fantastic manager, someone that I still speak to regularly now, and that doesn't happen often in football. So yeah, I think the mutual feeling that we've got is nothing but respect for one another.
And really nice around that time as well that he brought in players that he'd worked with before and known that they'd done a good job for him.
Yeah, he obviously had a few loanees at the time. I think Gareth Ainsworth he brought in from QPR. So he obviously livened up the dressing room. He was a lot louder than some of the others. He's obviously gone on to go down in Wycombe history in terms of what he's done as a player, but also probably more importantly as a manager. So it was a really good change, and it was a hell of a lot of experience that I could learn from people like Michael Dewberry as well, Ben Strevens that I still speak to regularly now. So there was a real mix of experience, but also a youth that have gone on to have fantastic careers like your Matty Phillips that I mentioned earlier. So I think at the time it was quite disappointing how League One went, but the following season, I believe it was, League Two was certainly a lot more positive and successful.
And there must have been so much you'd have taken from your time at the club, which would have helped in the remainder of your career as well.
Yeah, I think in football you learn at every single club under different management. You learn around different players. You learn about different expectations that are put upon you from above, but also the supporters as well. And I think the season in League One, the fans knew that it was going to be difficult, it was going to be tough, but we gave it a good go. We never sort of gave in until the very end. And then in League Two, we always felt like we could hold our own and compete. So we obviously had a much better season the second time round when I went on loan there, more towards the top end of the league. And then I think now Wycombe have obviously established themselves as a solid League One club, which is great to see because for a few years it was a yo-yo club. And that's not what anyone wanted. So it's obviously good to see the success that they've had over the past few seasons.
And it's around that time you got your Republic of Ireland under-21 call-up as well. That must have been such a proud moment.
Yeah, it was huge. I always wanted to play for Republic of Ireland. My grandparents, proud Irish people, especially my grandfather. So I had the option to play for Ireland or Wales, and it didn't take me any longer than 1 second to decide. I knew that I had to sort of make my granddad proud, so I chose Ireland. And I think I ended up playing around 26, 27 times throughout 17s, 19s and 21s. So yeah, something really proud. Only something I could have dreamt of as a young person to go and represent the country and travel the world doing that. So, something I really, really enjoyed and I look back on now, something that I'm immensely proud of.
And overall, how do you look back on your time at Wycombe in the spells?
Yeah, I think for me, it's one with probably, I think it was a bit mixed in terms of what I did. I think the first loan was really, really good, even though we were in a struggling team. I felt like I was maybe a positive sign-in at the time. And I remember getting a lot of messages after I'd left saying, thanks for what you've done, really enjoyed watching you play. But then I think my biggest regret, like I alluded to earlier, was not going back there later in my career. I wish the opportunity had arose so I could go back there and maybe be someone who was there for a number of years. Not saying I would have been there as long as Matt Bloomfield, but it just made sense being at my local club to sort of settle down, live at home. So I was living a chaotic life at the time. It would have just been nice to pop round the corner to training every single day. And I think that would have worked well for me. But through decision making of my own and opportunities later on in my career, it just never materialised.
And it's been quite nice in a way for you that you have played for so many different clubs and at different levels and probably got so much different things out of it as well.
Yeah, I think for me, I would have been happy playing one professional football match when I was probably 5 or 6 years old, walking out in front of, I think the most I played in front of is just under 50,000. So that's something that you could only have dreamt of as a young boy. And I would have taken that to have happened once. But I've been very lucky to, I think, have almost a couple of hundred professional games. So yeah, it's been more than sufficient in terms of what football's given me. I've loved every single minute of it and I'm still loving it to this day.
And you touched on the fact you've had a chaotic life at points, and I guess fans might not be quite aware of the struggles that you have been through, but so fantastic that you have come through the other side as well.
Yeah, of course. I think it's part of day-to-day life. I obviously had a bad gambling problem from the age of sort of 16 through to 27, something that definitely affected my career. But through no fault of my own, I think it was all my own doing. I take responsibility for what I did, but yeah, through being a young footballer and having time and money and the opportunity to gamble, it quickly got hold of me and definitely caused me a lot of stress. And it was detrimental towards what I was doing in terms of my football. I wasn't living correctly. My professionalism had kind of gone out the window. But fortunately for me, at the age of 27, I went to rehab for 26 days, came out of there, fingers crossed, a better person, someone that doesn't gamble now, and I haven't gambled for just over 8.5 years. So I'm definitely on the road to recovery. I don't feel like gambling is a part of my life or a problem in my life anymore. And now I try and give back by educating footballers and people are going into schools, going into businesses, by telling my story and hoping that no one else is struggling. And if they are, they can come to me and ask for help.
It's so rewarding that you can pass on, your experiences and other people can benefit from it.
Yeah, there's no better feeling. It doesn't cost anything to be kind or to be nice or to listen to someone. And that's what I feel like I do a lot of my time is giving up now by speaking to people that may be struggling. So it's definitely something that I'm proud that I can do. From what I did when I was gambling, it's not something that I was proud of because there's a lot of things that I look back on with immense shame in terms of how I treated people, how I lied to people, I stole off people. And that's me being brutally honest. So I definitely made amends for that over the past few years, having to rebuild relationships with my family and friends. But yeah, I've come out the other side of it now, and I'm living a new life, a better life, and one that I'm extremely happy with.
You must be so proud as well to have achieved that, because obviously it's not great to have gone through those things, but fantastic that something positive has come from it.
Yeah, I've got the best job in the world, in my opinion, or the two best jobs in the world is obviously going around and telling my story. I'm still involved in football, so I can combine my two passions. It keeps me involved in the Football League, where I go and see a lot of my ex-teammates and ex-managers. And obviously I'm a player manager at Slough Town now at the age of 35. So my life seems to be shaping up a lot better than it was maybe 8 or 9 years ago. I've got an idea of where I want to head. It's never that like plain sailing or straightforward, but I'm in a good place mentally, physically, emotionally, socially, all of those things. So I've got a good balance to my life now in terms of work and football, and I'm in a lot better place than I was in 2015.
It feels like so much has happened to you, and you're still so young. It feels like this is like we're talking about whole lifetime stuff, and you're only 36 next week.
I know, it's crazy. I think that's probably why I'm going bald quite early. So it's been stressful. But it is what it is. I've not really got many regrets. I'm kind of one of those people that it's happened, it's done. Let's tick the box, let's move on and try and be a better person tomorrow. And that's the only way that I can try and live now. So I think a lot of people realise that I'm probably different to what I was when I was a young footballer at Wycombe, or even a young person at the age of 29. A lot's happened in the last maybe 7 or 8 years that's probably shaped my life for the better. So I'm glad that those things have happened. I always say they happen for a reason. And yeah, I've got no complaints with how my life is heading now.
And how have you taken to football management?
Absolutely love it, but it's very, very stressful. It's chaotic, it's carnage, it's rewarding, it's upsetting, it's joyful. I could explain every emotion under the sun, but it's something that I could not have imagined myself doing at the age of 35 in such a competitive league. I think I'm one of the youngest player managers in the country at this level. You don't really see many player managers anymore, so I'm very grateful for the opportunity. I'm learning every single day. But yeah, really, really enjoying it. I've got a good group of people around me, from staff and management through to the players, the board of directors. And yeah, it's something that I might end up doing well with, but at the same time, it might not go so well. So I guess we just have to see and wait what comes from it.
Is it a real benefit to still be a player as well in that role too?
Yeah, there is, because you get to pick yourself. So it's not too bad. But no, I still feel fit. I still feel fresh. Feel like I can still play at this level. I've got a contract through to the end of 2026. And my aim is to sort of be available as a player through till then. It'll take me to 38 years old. And then sort of sit down and reevaluate the situation, see where I'm at, see where the squad's at, and whether I'm needed or not. But it's never about me. It's always about the team and trying to get a result. So if that means that I play or if I don't play, then yeah, ultimately it's just about getting the 3 points.
It's incredible, isn't it? Because fans will remember comparatively recently, Slough had a great FA Cup run, and obviously you're doing well in terms of going for the playoffs now as well.
Yeah, we're definitely exceeding all expectations. The remit this season was just to try and stay up or finish as high as we can outside of the relegation zone, and we're definitely in a position that we would have ripped someone's hand off at the beginning of the season to take. We had a game on Saturday that was abandoned, and we would have been 1 point behind the team in fifth if we'd have won that. So, yeah, we're definitely doing extremely well because we've got an honest and hard-working group. We've probably got a group that reminds me of a Wycombe under Gareth Ainsworth when they got into the playoffs and had so much success. It's very hard-working, very down-to-earth. All the lads are extremely humble. They want to listen, they want to learn, and it stands us in good stead to hopefully get into the playoffs if we can. If we do, then great. But if we don't, then it's still been a fantastic season overall.
There seems some parallels, don't there? Because obviously Gareth was player manager for a bit as well, and that's something that you're doing now too. And perhaps in your dressing room as well, you have that sort of underdog mentality as well.
Yeah, every single week we do. We like being the underdogs. We like being the team in the league that can probably spring a surprise on clubs. But people are starting to expect it now, whereas early in the season we were getting some really good results and it was that underdog mentality. But now we're going into games possibly as a favourite. So it's kind of flipped a little bit, but it is what it is. We just take each game as it comes and see where it takes us by the end of the game.
And do you still have ambitions, things you'd like to achieve in the game? As you say, so comparatively young still.
I've not really thought about anything, to be honest. Like Slough have given me the opportunity as a player manager, one that I'm extremely grateful for. And I've not really thought any further than this. There has been talk about other clubs when managers have been sacked and my name's been linked with it, but I don't see myself going anywhere for a very long time unless the club decide to remove me. It's a club that I really enjoy being at. I've got a great relationship with the people above me. the management, the players, the supporters. And I'm very, very fortunate that I'm in this position that I am at such a young age. So, I'm enjoying it for now, and I've still got a lot to learn. So we'll just have to see what happens over the next few years, because as quickly as football goes well, it can also turn very, very quickly and go badly.
And I'm sure you probably don't think of yourself as inspirational, but it's brilliant for youngsters to listen to you and to think what could happen if things go well.
Yeah, exactly that. I think you just got to stay level-headed, got to stay grounded, and that's not really difficult for me to do. I think I find it quite easily from probably the way that I've been brought up. My dad's a footballing man. My mum's always making sure that I'm conducting myself in the right way, even at my age. So, yeah, I just take each game as it comes. I don't really listen to much of the talk that goes on externally outside of the football club. I get tagged into some tweets here and there from when managers get sacked saying Scott would be perfect for this job, but it blows over my head, to be honest. It's irrelevant to what goes on outside of the football club. It's not my concern, and I just enjoy what I'm doing at Slough Town.
Well, it's been a real pleasure to speak to you. Thank you so much indeed for your time.
Thanks ever so much. Great to speak to you too.
Great chatting to Scott, who's 36 next week.
Happy birthday.
Former Wycombe Wanderers midfielder who is now plying his trade not too far away at all, player manager at Slough. With thanks as always to the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association, who, as mentioned, have their first fundraising event of the season this Saturday at Adams Park, raising money for the Alzheimer's Society. It's their annual quiz. Around 100 are in attendance. You might be able to join them and get in touch with John Maskell or Vince Faulkner for more details. You get a 2-course supper and the chance to pit your wits against a host of other ex-players, officials and supporters as well. All set to be a good night. And as mentioned, raising money for the Alzheimer's Society. Do get in touch with the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association via their Facebook page and or on the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association website as part of the Wycombe Wanderers website, where you'll get all the contact details there too. Also, just to let you know, in future editions of our chats with ex-players coming up in the near future, Declan Link and also Craig Woodman among the former Chairboys that we'll be chatting to in the coming weeks as well.
Very nice. If they need any questions for the quiz, they maybe need a couple more. There's a very good quiz on Pre Match Drills this week, all about Joe Jacobson.
It's very tricky.
Some of the questions are extremely hard, yes.
Extremely hard?
Extremely hard, yes. But
do you like extremely hard questions?
Watch Pre Match Drills this week on Wanderers TV. That should have been the promo.
Although, if you're a fan and you've been to many of Joe Jacobson's games and you've seen, many of his goals, and you know what his middle name is, you might know his middle name.
The two contestants, let's say, did rather shockingly well, to be honest.
They might know his middle name anyway, mightn't they?
Well, that's true. Yeah, you didn't do as well.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I did. It's
just the truth, Colin. I'm
school
sorry.
Reports. You didn't do.
Could have
as
done
well.
better.
Yeah. Third part of the Wycombe Wanderers show still to come. We'll hear from Matt Bloomfield shortly.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound.
Final part of this week's Wycombe Wanderers show still to come. We'll hear from manager Matt Bloomfield. Luke's probably got some more trivia.
I do. We can talk more about Matt being nice to you.
Oh yeah, that'd be
but
good.
you sound like he's not nice to you normally. No, that's not true.
He's always nice to me.
He's always nice to you.
At least I think so.
Well, when you leave, it's a different situation.
And also, you were saying how many home games are left in the season? Not many.
5. Would you like to know what they are?
Go on then.
Okay, in no particular order except for when they're happening. Of course, Reading on Saturday, but after that, home to Wigan on Tuesday the 12th of March. Then home on Saturday the 16th of March to Northampton Town. Then we're away to Cambridge on the 23rd of March. Portsmouth at home on Friday the 29th of March, also known as Good Friday, and let's hope it is. Blackpool away on the 1st. Peterborough United at Wembley on the 7th of April. Derby County at home on Wednesday the 10th. That's at 7:45 to confuse everybody. Then we're away to Shrewsbury, Port Vale and Carlisle before we're back at home for the last game of the season. Carlton Athletic on the 27th of April at 3 o'clock.
I thought you were just listing the home games.
Yeah, well, I know.
You've gone through them all, haven't you?
Well, we've got time to fill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a dates for your diary.
Date for your diary, yes. Possibly some of those will be on sale now.
That's not many, though, is it?
No, 5 home games and only 2 on a Saturday.
Oh,
I think.
Only 2?
3 on a Saturday. No, 2.
Yeah, with the Friday.
Yeah,
and
Northampton and Carlisle at the end of the season. So the next home game is the 16th of March at Northampton Town. Then the next home game after that is the 27th of April.
This does sound like one of those 12 plus questions. What time does the train leave?
Make sure you've got lots of fuel in your car because you're going to be travelling a lot with the Chairboys.
Yeah, lots of opportunities. Only several, not many. Handful of opportunities left for you to get behind Wycombe Adams Park.
Yes, well, 2.
Yeah, that's not many.
Not many,
is it?
no. Well, on Saturday.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Be less soon. Anyway, back to Wycombe Wanderers Women. We heard from a number of the first team, the under-23s and the under-18s, and the manager, Carl Simon, has made a number of new signings of late as well. Craig's been speaking to them. We'll hear from Molly in a couple of moments' time. But first, here's Imani.
Obviously, coming into a new environment, I was a bit nervous at first, but getting to know the girls, they're lit, they're welcoming, and yeah, it's just a good vibe around here, really.
You made your first team start on Sunday. What was it like just to walk straight into the team and start on the wing?
It was a bit scary because obviously coming into a new team, you always feel like you have high expectations, but they didn't make me feel like that. They just let me play and said, have fun, and I did. It wasn't the result we wanted, but I think as a team, we all played well.
You played on the wing. Is there any other sort of positions that we could maybe see you pop up in?
I can play on a wing as a 10.
Is there any position you find the strongest, though?
Yeah, on the wing. I'm really keen on my 1v1s. It's one of my strongest elements.
Before you came to Wycombe Wanderers, where were you playing?
I was at Ashford last season, and then I stopped at the end of the season. So Carl messaged me, and I thought there's no better team, especially with the goals they have next season, pushing for promotion. That's obviously something that caught my interest, and I like playing for, a purpose. Like, it's fun playing 90 here and there, but to go to a team where they want to get promoted is somewhere I want to be.
And like you said, Carl approached you, so it was nice to be wanted, isn't it?
Yeah, it was really nice to be wanted. It made me want to come even more, to be honest.
Now, we've not got long of the season left as well, but what are your sort of short-term goals and your long-term goals for next season?
My short-term goals is obviously get to know the team more and obviously to know how they play. So when we get into next season, we know what we're going to do. And obviously we just go straight for the W's so we can actually get that promotion.
And away from the pitch, you've got quite a sort of skillful Instagram page. What's all that about?
So on the side, I do a bit of content creating, to get an eye on women's football because I feel like it's not pushed enough.
So we might see a few skills out the old trick bag on a Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, when I play, I do like to entertain the crowd. So I feel like with the crowd that Wycombe have, it motivates me to do a bit more and obviously get the crowd going.
Well, it's great to have you here, and welcome to Wycombe.
Thank you.
Great hearing from Imani. Watch out for her on the wing, on a wing very near you very soon, although a limited number of Chairgirls fixtures remaining of the season as well, although there will be some post-season friendlies, I believe, so you can still follow their progress there too. Another of the new signings is Molly, who Craig spoke to as well.
From the get-go, the girls have been unbelievably welcoming. I've bonded really well with the girls, which I've found weird. I know it shouldn't be that way, but normally when you go to a club, it's quite hard to gel in, especially halfway through a season and things like that. But no, the girls have been lovely. They've been really welcoming.
Is there anyone you've instantly connected with and had a good laugh with?
So I knew Axe before, so obviously I've already got that relationship there. But Ellie I get on with really well, actually, and I get on well with Bobby and stuff like that. They were two people that were really welcoming to me from the start.
And you know Axel from Brentford, don't you? So how long have you known her for from Brentford days?
So I was at Brentford for 2 years. So I've known her, for 2 years, and I've just remained in contact with her.
What was it that attracted you to Wycombe Wanderers?
I just like the aspiration of wanting to get promoted. I know a few of the girls from having played against them as a kid and things like that, and just the idea of starting afresh at a new club and being part of a team where I can help try and promote and things like that.
Well, you certainly made an impact on Sunday, straight into the first team, playing at right back. How was that?
It's quite intimidating, I can't lie. I mean, I've not played for about a year now properly with illness and things like that. So it was a bit intimidating in the part of I'm getting thrown back out there. But it was nice to have that trust from Carl to get chucked out straight away and get myself into the team. Is
your short-term goals for the rest of the season, is it to have more starts or just to get minutes?
I'd like to get more starts if it's there. If not, just get more minutes under my belt, ready to start afresh for the new season.
So what is it, the strengths you'd say you'd bring to the club or bring as a defensive player? What's your best attributes?
I think just as a person as a whole, I'm quite bubbly and quite uplifting. I'm all right to get on with. And as a defender, I think I'll just give you my all until I can't go no more. I'll always put 100% in. If I make a mistake, then I'll look over that mistake I've done and try and think how I can't what to do next and not do that again, kind of thing.
Well, it's great to have you here. Welcome to Wycombe.
Thank you.
Great to hear from Molly. Wycombe Wanderers Women next action on the 17th of March. We've got 2 away games coming up at Warminster and then Woodley as well.
Very nice.
It seems like they're in their fixtures alphabetically.
Well done to them.
I've got to W. It's that close to the end of the season.
Maybe they should just do that. Maybe we should just play all games in alphabetical order.
Yes, start off at Accrington.
Yes,
maybe.
Accrington.
And then finish up at, we haven't thought this through, probably York, probably.
Are they in our league?
I don't know. Probably not.
Bale.
Yeah. Anyway. No, York aren't in our
No.
Anyway.
Are Accrington in our league?
Probably not either.
No.
No, that
this has
wouldn't
gone really well.
Some
Burton.
of these would be friendly.
Burton probably would be first. No, Barnsley.
Yeah, of course.
BA, yeah.
It's an odd feature, though.
Wigan obviously would be last.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
But Charlton are last. You've already mentioned that.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
So lots to look forward to for the remainder of the season. A disappointing defeat against Barnsley on Saturday. Andy Rammell, who was the guest in the Legends Lounge.
Sorry, who?
It turns out we've been mispronouncing his name.
Andy Rammell.
It's the correct pronunciation, and his wife has told us that.
Well, Ben Brown of Commercial in Wycombe Wanderers office said Andy Rammell, and we were like, haha, you got it wrong. And then Andy's wife was like, no, that's actually how you got it. And Andy said, that's the first time someone's got my name right, and it's only taken like 25 years since I stopped playing football.
But if someone said Andy Rammell, they wouldn't know.
You'd have no idea it was, no.
So Andy Rammell.
Andy Rammell, yeah.
Real name Andy Rammell.
Correct.
It's like a stage name.
It's like a stage name, yeah.
He's changed it for football.
Yeah.
So he was at the game in the Legends Lounge, and it got quite exciting for a while because Wycombe went ahead, obviously, level at 1-1 at half-time, and a bit later on, David Wheeler got sent off. Anyway, much to reflect on with the manager who we spoke to yesterday up at the training ground after he'd had a chance to look through the data, review the game, and talk about some of the many positives that were on display at Adams Park, ready to take into the game and on Saturday against Reading.
We've obviously had a really busy schedule, which we've really enjoyed, but it's also been nice to step back slightly and spend some time on the training ground with the players, and we're still looking to build and improve and evolve, so having that time we feel has been really valuable this week.
And obviously post-match from Barnsley, you were so pleased with the quick start and the chances that were created, and that's been great to sort of build on going into Saturday.
Yeah, I think, obviously I spoke Saturday after the game and I didn't have the data at that point, but looking back at the data over the last 4 and the 8 games that someone's brought a table to my attention, it's obviously been building in our favour, and I think Saturday was very similar. We've gone up against a top team, gone toe to toe, and unfortunately found ourselves on the wrong side of the result, and I've just spoken there about keeping the performance level to where it has been and improving that, but also improving our points total as well, because that's what we're here to do, is pick up points and win games.
And does it feel like officiating decisions have gone against you, or did you just have to sort of accept that?
Both. We have to accept it because they're the officials, they make the decisions. Have more things gone against us this year than for us? Absolutely yes, because we have the apologies and the reasonings and the excuses for that. So yeah, we have to accept it. There's nothing we can do about it. Maybe I need to stop talking about it because it seems to be happening too often. But it's ultimately hurt us this season, and we have to make sure that we're better in trying to move that towards us. Quite how we do that when we're not in charge of that, I'm not sure.
And does it feel like you've come to a point in the season where you have your sort of strongest 11 and indeed off the bench options available to you?
Yeah, I think that there's really good competition for places. I think I think the answer to your question is we've been quite settled recently in terms of being able to rotate to a degree without being over the top because of the amount of games we've had. But yeah, we've got a really strong competition for those places, really strong competition for places as finishers as well on the bench. So we've been fairly settled, and we'd like to keep that as much as we can moving forward.
You must be really pleased with so many of those positive aspects going into Saturday's game at Reading.
Yeah, definitely. I think that what do we want to be here? We want to be an exciting team to watch. We want to play on the front foot. We want to be full of energy. We want to excite our supporters, and we want to be a team that people want to come and watch and enjoy watching. So I think that we've been able to move it there quite a lot recently, and we want to keep it there. But yeah, we've got loads to improve on, and we're really hungry to do so.
And are you expecting a particular challenge from them, or is it more a case of focusing on your own game preparations?
Yeah, as with anyone, it's both. We know that and respect the challenge that Reading are going to bring. They've got some really good players, some really good individual players within a team unit that looks really cohesive at the moment. So we know that we're in for a tough afternoon. But if we can concentrate on ourselves and be the best we can be and control the game as much as we can, both in and out of position, then hopefully we can have a good afternoon.
And does it feel like perhaps you're not even looking at the table, but this feels like a real opportunity in the coming games to really make a sort of charge?
Yeah, we want to. Yeah, I have a deep hunger and desire to be further up the table as a football club. We knew that we were going to have a slightly bumpy ride at times with transitioning like we have this year, but we feel like we're moving forward in terms of strides of the performance. So we want that to reflect in our results. We want that to reflect in the optimism around the place, and that's up to us to do so. So, yeah, we've got some good games coming up, and we want to make sure we attack them.
And does it feel like April the 7th is coming quite quickly? We're literally not thinking about it, and it'll just be here very quickly anyway.
Yeah, I'm trying not to think about it because I want to concentrate on the league, but ultimately, there's stuff that needs to be decided, and I think with the kick-off time there's been a debate and a delay over that, so there's other things going on, but my focus has to be on the league form because ultimately that's what we're judged on, and we want to be higher up the table.
I know, I thought it was really nice that you were asked what you were thinking about wearing at Wembley. Has that changed at all, or are you still sticking with your
It's a normal game for me, so I'll be trying to approach it as normally as possible. It's like I say, but first and foremost, we've got to make sure we're ready for this game on Saturday afternoon at Reading. I really apologise for the boring answer, but it's the only thing that's in my mind at this moment in time.
I think as well, because the localness of it, fans are especially looking forward to the game as well.
Yeah, they are, and they're going to be following us in their numbers, which I thank them for. I think we're when we go away from home, the volume that we create, we've had some real good days away from home, so we want to create another one for our supporters. I thank them for their time and their money into going to Reading on Saturday afternoon, and I really, really hope we give them plenty to cheer about.
Real pleasure to chat to Matt Bloomfield, who we spoke to at the training ground yesterday.
Gaffer.
So before the recording, unfortunately,
Yes.
it's not captured on.
This is why you should always be ready to record, Colin. You've missed out.
So we were sat. I'll paint the picture for you. We were sat. There was a desk between us, which is unusual.
Yeah.
Because one of the interviews was done on Zoom, so I was sat the other side of the desk, and spontaneously I just said, "Oh, this is very formal, having a desk between us." And I started by saying, "How long have we been having these problems?" to which he laughed and said that he enjoyed my quick wit.
Now, while you said that, I said, well, he's had the media team for a very long time, but no one heard that because everyone's laughing at you.
Oh, thank you. Laughing at me?
Yeah, well, with you.
Yeah, Luke was sat on the floor at the time.
I was. Well, it was very busy in the media office on...
There were a lot of chairs taken. Only yesterday.
Yeah.
And also, it was noted that this was the first Wednesday press session since another of my quips, which were celebrated.
Colin Besley anniversary.
I'll explain it because it won't be as funny now. But you might have heard it on the show. But what happened was it was Matt Bloomfield's 40th birthday. I think on the day, or was it the day of the game that was
day
we were
of
talking
the game,
about? The day of the
I
game we
think,
talked about. So I tried to find a way to get to that, and Wycombe were quite close to 40 points at the time. So I happened to mention that whether it was a significant milestone, because in the Premier League 40 is considered a sort of safety mark of, and I asked him if that was the same in League One or didn't it matter too much, and he said, he gave a great answer, and then I said, but 40 is quite a significant milestone, isn't it? And then left a pause, and then he realised what I was getting at.
Yeah.
So it was
very good as well.
I was praised for how I got to that. Also at the press session yesterday, we saw Scott McLeish at the training ground doing some work on behalf of the PFA, which reminded me, although too late to actually mention it to him, he's been a guest on the show, of course, and that's...
I enjoyed watching you going, I recognise
I could hear my brain clicking over as it was, because we didn't actually see him to speak to, but when we had him on the show, but I was stood opposite him in real life, and it was, you said 2 years ago,
season 2 of this very show, exactly 2 years ago nearly.
Yes,
25th of March, I think,
almost to the day.
Yeah,
it's as though we've looked it up.
we did.
It was really good to see Scott McLeish in the flesh, although sadly I didn't realise it was him until some time afterwards. But if I get the chance again, we shall certainly remind him. Make sure you keep listening to Wycombe Sound and the Wycombe Wanderers Show. We've got more great ex-players to chat to in the coming weeks, as mentioned as well. We'll continue to hear from the manager, more from Phil as well. Hopefully, fingers crossed, by the end of the season we'll get to chat to Gareth Ainsworth as well about his time both playing and of course managing at the club. There's more build up to Wembley to look forward to, April the 7th, although we're not supposed to talk about it yet, and also much to look forward to in terms of celebrating Joe Jacobson's testimonial year.
Yes, in no particular order. Phase 1 tickets out tomorrow, www.fc.com for all of the details, tickets.www.fc.com. Make sure you can sign in, get ready for tomorrow morning. Tickets go on sale at 10 a.m. Golf Day, still tickets available for that. Rhino's going to be on the Golf Day, and Steve Brown as well.
Both very keen golfers.
They are indeed. Reading on Saturday, Joe Jacobson's testimonial event, which is happening later on this month. Tickets available for that. 19th. Pre Match Drills is out now, which features the Joe Jacobson 10th anniversary quiz.
Very hard quiz.
It's Jack Grimmer and Jason McCarthy. It's possibly one of the best things we've done this season. I'm very happy with it.
If you like your TV game shows of the past, this is a real nod to that.
It really is.
You'll enjoy that. That's on Wanderers TV. Enjoy the game on Saturday. Hopefully we'll get 3 points down the road.
Come on, you Blues!